Hey there. So today I'm talking with Allie from the Witchy Hunch, who is another fun Instagram person. I'm just so happy to connect with because just the way you deliver astrology information really does help people to understand it even better. So thank you for coming on here.
I'm so happy to be here. Any chance I have to talk about astrology, I'm like bursting. It's like any moment someone wants to be like Libra, I'm like, ooh, my special interest. I am ready to talk about it. So I'm really happy to meet and chat and just kind of get a sense um, of you and yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's like, the world is always, it's been around forever, but like people are getting it's more even mainstream now than it was
Oh, totally.
whatever, 10 years ago. So but it's a you
Like for
said,
better and for worse. For better and for
well,
worse.
why worse? Because people are wrong in their delivery or what?
No, it's more like, you know, the like on the one hand, like democratizing astrology knowledge is part of how I'm an astrologer. I was exposed to it when I was 8 years old. I was, you know, able to study it on my own all these years. Um, but the more that I've walked the path of astrology and walked the path of being an astrologer, the more I respect that, like, we were never supposed to learn about our astrology from an app. You were never supposed to learn about astrology from a book. You're supposed to learn about your astrology with an astrologer who can work with you, who has done the deep learning to knit all those things together. Because what do you see in an app? Like, I have a astrology app, professional astrology app, that is like the best that you can have. And when I read through all the different placements on the app,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, you have a tendency to shy away from social groups. You don't want to talk about emotional things. And then
Mhm.
another placement is like, you're absolutely so emotional and you want to be in the groups and you want to talk about the deep emotional stuff. So it's like
Yeah, to
working with
have
an
someone bring it
astrologer
together.
brings
Yeah.
it all together. So
Yeah.
you can say, well, yeah, you have this, but you also have this, and this moderates that, and this is what's helpful to deal with this whole thing.
Hmm.
There's so much more that you get from an astrologer, but the apps are kind of like trying to convince us, and the like, horoscope based on your rising sign is kind of trying to convince you that like you've gotten all you need to get out of astrology when you're actually, missing something that was so fundamental to the experience of astrology, which was going to see an astrologer, which was how you, it's esoteric knowledge.
Yeah.
And people were not allowed to have it unless you climbed the ranks and you went through the system to finally get it and then
Hmm.
you share it. But so it's like there's a dimension of that where I would just say, like, see an astrologer, see a good astrologer,
Hmm.
because they're going to be able to give you so much more of a reflection of
Right.
yourself and who you are, because they can see across all the different areas of you in a way that an app or a book
Hmm.
could never do,
Yeah, because like one little section might totally contradict another.
over and over again. It's going to be like that because we are contradictory people. But
Hmm.
it's like, how do you reconcile that? What you it can't look tri-dimensionally. It can't look
Hmm.
across rulerships and how that's part of the dynamic. There's just so much that's missing that a human person can do. And then I would also caution against like using AI for astrology. One, because it's notoriously fucking wrong. If you type in like when was the Taurus full moon last year, it'll give you wacky ass dates from
Really?
all over the place. Do not trust any of the dates of like when was Uranus last in Taurus, because
Hmm.
it can just scrape from all this sort of bad stuff or just make shit up.
Right.
So dates are really bad. But the thing about those models is they're just using the language from all the apps. They're using the language from all the little bits. They're
Hmm.
not thinking holistically in the same
Right.
kind of way that a person can. And also, like, a person, like, I've seen hundreds of clients. I've heard hundreds of stories. It's one thing to read a description. It's another thing to hear from person after person after person what it's like to lose their partner late in
Hmm.
life and what
Hmm.
that does. What it's like to have had to been so independent when you were young that now you can't accept help as an adult and you're in your older years and you're worried about being disabled. You
Hmm.
don't get that from,
Right.
so this is just my plea is like, I'm not being like, see me, because,
Right.
if you connect with me, I would love to see you. But it's just like, see astrologers
Yeah. It's like
as
a public service announcement. Like
that's
just,
my PSA.
yeah, yeah, have a human weave it together and give you the different perspective.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's an astrologist, and I was telling her about like the way my weeks were going in the last couple weeks and giving her like, just like friend update. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, remind me again of your birth time." And then she's like, "You must have so many transits in this or that, because of just like the stories I was sharing with her about like the people from my past resurfacing and stuff like that." It was just, it's fun having an astrologist friend who you can just run things past, and
Right.
have them delve into it on your behalf with a different lens of knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, the first astrology besides the automated I'm older, I'm 47. When I was in college, the internet was new,
Yep.
and one of the first things I paid for on the internet
Oh
was
yeah.
an astrology,
Yeah.
summary from like
Yep.
Astrology Zone or something.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
And it was great. And
Great.
it helped me learn about myself. I also bought
So
astrology
helpful.
books when I was like 16, like the only astrology book you'll ever need. It was like this big purple book.
Oh yeah. I think I have that in my library.
And I think that's where I got the conflicting thing about my moon sign, because it like that's where like I was, is my moon Virgo or is it Libra, because I don't know if their thing was accurate. Not sure. But eventually when I was like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I met an astrologist who like, she was like older, she was like in her 60s, and she was like
Oh yeah.
hardcore and she loved it. And
Hell
she
yeah.
had piles of books all around her, and she would be like, "Ooh," and she'd grab one book and be like, "Ooh," and grab another book. And it was just like, it was totally like something from like Harry Potter, it was just like these.
Oh my God, I love it.
So it was
Yeah.
really helpful. And she's like, she could tell that me and my husband have like great chemistry, just, and she never told me why. She was just like, "Oh, I pick up on that." And it's because his rising is Scorpio, and I'm Taurus, and and just, it was just really funny how she decoded it. And it
Yeah.
wasn't until like years later that I started to peel it back to even understand like why she would make those statements. Like, where was she, what
Right.
concluded that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just, so it's neat. And I love that the family members have overlapping
Yeah.
things, like
Oh
my
yeah.
one son is Aquarius, my other has an Aquarius moon, and my daughter has is Scorpio sun, and my husband has got the Scorpio rising. It's just like, I love how they all are.
Yep.
It's not accidental.
Yeah, it's powerful and just one last thing on that last topic we were talking about. It's like I'm definitely not you know, shame. I have so many books and I have a huge library. Like I look at the apps, I look at the stuff, you look at it, but it's just like so helpful to have someone like your friend
Mm-hmm.
help piece it together for you who spends their life
Mm-hmm.
meeting with hundreds of people doing this for hour after hour after
Yeah.
hour after hour after hour, you
Yeah.
know but yeah, I love astrology because it's a reflection. This is my other like kind of not hot take but feels like a hot take, is that like um when your friend is like, oh, you're going through this all this stuff in your life, you must be having transits.
Mm-hmm.
The In my whole world of astrology, in my whole lineage of astrology, it doesn't mean that those transits are happening and therefore it's causing the things in your life to be happening. It's not a causal mechanism that the planets are causing anything to be happening on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a reflection of what's happening on
Right.
Earth.
Right.
Because, exactly, it's not, it's like, we don't live in this physicalist reality where we say Saturn is doing this in the sky, so I'm behaving this way. It's more like this is happening here, as below so above. We can read this environment and we can get insight into what's going on, where you
Right.
go, oh yeah, archetypally, when we have a Venus Neptune kind of contact, we might have this dreaminess happen, or we might have, if you're in this dreamy state right now, oh, the other shadow side of that is there might be some lies or some concealment or something that you're not seeing or that you don't want to see. Like, pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Astrology is so used as like, it can often be used not as like a just about learning about your personality, whereas
Mm-hmm.
it has so much potential to really be worked as just a wisdom system. There's so much to learn from Scorpio in your
Mm-hmm.
life. You need balance with Scorpio as a Taurus. What do you learn from that? You just want to, if you were heavy, heavy Taurus and you had no Scorpio in your life, no Scorpio in your chart, I would be telling you, you need to work on your Scorpio, and bring in more Scorpio in your life. You
Mm-hmm.
need, to step away from comfort and into the challenging discomfort of change and
Hmm.
transformation. Let go of your stability
Right.
to follow your passion. Scorpio is way more comfortable doing that uh,
Yeah.
than than a Taurus would be
Yeah.
naturally. So we other people help us so much because their natural wisdom, as he
Hmm.
has a Scorpio rising, he
Hmm.
has that natural wisdom there where he understands those realms. He understands what it is to go down into the depth of the dark cave and face yourself
Right.
and come back up and be transformed. And so it's so helpful for us to, my partner, I have Mercury, my how I want to communicate is conjunct my Mars, forceful, direct. I swear a lot. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you. I'm always like yelling. Everyone's always like, shut the fuck up. Um, my partner has his Mercury conjunct Venus. So whereas I'm like, cut it off. We should say no. I'll let me type the email we have a band together. He's like, no, I'll type the email. Okay. And I'm like, why is everybody so soft these days? Why can't you just tell them what you want? Everybody in California is so soft. And he's like, no, we want to like keep this relationship. We want them to feel really good. We don't want to harsh the vibe. His Venus on his Mercury comes out and helps me out. Um, so and there's wisdom in that. It's like, yeah, that's his placement, but I can learn from that. I
Yeah.
can tell that I need some balance here. And that's what my whole philosophy is with readings is like, how can I help people just have some resources to find better balance when you find yourself, I'm really angry right now. I have a really short fuse.
Hmm.
When I'm stuck on the couch and I can't get up and I feel like my light is out, and I haven't been inspired in years. Like, what do we do from there? How do we use astrology to help us balance out? It's such a good system for that.
Well, how do you then? How would you call in more, opposite
Yeah.
elements or whatever?
Yeah. So I'm going to create like I have in prototype this what I'm calling a balance wheel, which is basically like for all the signs, it'll say, what does this look like when it's kind of out of balance? What does it look like when it's in balance? And what are activities that get you a little bit further into balance so that you can look at it and go, oh, it looks like I'm kind of out of balance in my Scorpio. I'm obsessive, I'm locked in, I'm not fucking peeing and eating, and I'm just obsessing and I'm sacrificing my body. What do I do?
That sounds like my daughter because she's
Yeah,
Scorpio. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's the classic. Anytime I
You're
use
like,
that
I need to
symbol with
eat. My
Scorpio,
hands are shaking. I need to eat.
literally. And you have to watch out for Scorpio because they get repetitive stress injuries
Yeah.
from like
Yep.
holding the pen for too long or standing with the book for too long in the same way. They're going to get
Totally.
like wrist problems, right?
Yeah.
Um, so then, you know, my structure for how to deal with using the chart to find balance is the first place to go is across the wheel. So you'd
Mhm.
go across to Taurus. What are the ways that Taurus can help you get back into balance?
Take a
Fucking
nap.
Scorpio, stop.
Eat.
Yeah. Take a nap, eat, sit outside for a little bit,
Yeah.
just rest, stop, stretch, enjoy for the moment, like chill out. Like that's like, a really helpful uh, kind of place to go.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so going across the wheel is really helpful. And then I really like looking at the squaring signs and what they can offer.
What do you
Like,
mean by that?
so
Like what's up? Like on
you
the
go
wheel itself?
opposites
Yeah.
on the wheel itself, so you'll have the squaring signs. So any of the fixed signs. So just look at
Hmm.
the fixed signs. What are
Hmm.
what are the wisdom of the fixed signs? So if we're dealing with challenge, Scorpio is now going to Taurus to find balance kind of the quickest. But then what are the other voices that are there are the squaring signs. And so that Leo is like, can you fucking like in like have a bright little moment? Like you're so intense and huddled. Like put on some good music and dance for a little bit. Like tell it, look at something, beautiful or be creative or just loosen up and have some fun.
Hmm.
That's also helpful for Scorpio because Scorpio can just like work for days and days and days.
Yeah.
I'll put the TV on, but I'll be doing something else at the same time for the next 3 hours. Um, so there's like an element of play that
Mhm.
is important there.
Right.
Uh, and then something we can learn from Aquarius is like Aquarius is it can just climb that ivory tower and get some perspective. Like give yourself some mental space, take some alone time, just get some time and space away is really helpful. Um, and get yourself kind of organized in terms of your, it's the most organized of the signs in terms of like getting yourself a structure, where sometimes Scorpio you can kind of get lost in the obsession.
Hmm.
Know? Whereas Aquarius is like, okay, yeah, we're in the obsession time, but we also have to like pay those bills and we have to do this other shit that are outside of the obsession zone.
Right.
Um, so, um, but really we are 12 sign people.
Right.
So many of us get caught in the sun, moon, rising, or we get caught in the next level, which is I'm only going to think about the signs that I have planets in,
Hmm.
when really you have a house on every sign. You really have to understand that you have every sign in your
Right.
life. So
Right.
it's like, how do you balance those out? Are you getting too serious with your Capricorn and shutting off your emotions and just biting through to keep climbing? Maybe you need to dive into your Cancer and allow those, give yourself cozy space and time away to go feel your feelings, put on Inside Out too, and cry a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So you really can use the wisdom of all the signs to help you address, like, oh, man, I'm so self-critical right now. Like, I'm so perfectionistic and I just fucked up and I'm obsessing over it. Oh God, I'm out of balance in my Virgo. I need to get into my Pisces and have a bigger perspective
Hmm.
and realize that I'm an ant on a rock drifting through space, bro, and I only have so many years. Why not smoke a doob and like sew a patch on a pair of pants and just live my best life,
Right.
like relax. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love myself unconditionally. That lives more with Pisces than Virgo. So
Right.
Virgo can take some of that wisdom in,
Yeah. Yeah.
try to find balance that way.
That's so awesome. So how have you learned since the time you were 8? Like, did your parents like have you sit with an astrologer when you were little or something like that? Or did you just like consume a lot of information by
No,
books and
yeah.
other sources?
Yeah. I would say I learned astrology in a way that a lot of people learn astrology these days.
Yeah.
And I would encourage it, which is like, you know, um, a ton of study, a ton of study. And then I did a lot of listening to podcasts and classes, and I was just absorbing as much information as I possibly could. But at the same time, I was doing a ton of like chart readings for friends where as much as I learned, I would sit down with my friend's chart and be like, let me try to explain this to you, what you have going on. So
Hmm.
I would just recommend that, like, I've seen some people who know a ton about astrology but couldn't give a reading because
That's
they hadn't been practicing the reading part.
right. The chart casting I know is like complicated, right? So I would think, I mean, it seemed complicated. Like my brother-in-law gave me a book on how to make a chart. Like it was a sweet gift, but I was like, I'll never do this. Like I just knew that I couldn't, I just didn't have it in me. I guess I don't have that kind of the brain to like sit there and chart it
Well,
all out.
you don't have to, because you can just there are so many apps
Hmm.
that do that chart casting for you and that you can
But do
trust.
you like doing that? Do you like kind of making the wheel and filling it in?
No, I
Okay.
don't. I'm trying to get to the information as quickly as possible. It doesn't really do much for me to
Hmm.
necessarily chart it out. It's okay, but I'm very busy. Like I told you, I work a full-time
Yeah,
job and I only have,
that takes
so
time.
yeah, so it's just like I'm just trying to get straight to what it is, and I trust, like I use Astro Gold and I trust them, and
And
um
the degrees are really important too. I mean, I've only just learned about that in the last like couple of years. Like
right.
something 0 degrees or
Yeah,
closer to
29.
zero, then it's like significant.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different perspectives on that. There's a lot of different interpretations of what does 0 degree mean? What does the 29th degree mean? Is there
Hmm.
a karmic journey that's associated with some of that? Or is there like this is a new journey for me versus an old journey for me with this,
Hmm.
wrapping up a cycle at the 29th degree? Am I, all of that is up for interpretation.
Okay.
And I think people work with it in different ways.
Okay. It's more like an art than a
Yeah.
science in
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are more like very accepted things that everybody basically does, but then I think that there's certain things where it's like, I'm a little more open in terms and there's just so many different forms of astrology that and ways of working with it. It's not like this is the truth and this is the one truth. It's like, what do we learn from using this structure and this understanding? But either way, I think that those degrees are very important because it signals that there just was a major change. You move from one sign into another, that's a very heightened moment where all of a sudden, any of the planets in early degrees of many different signs are about to get aspected by this planet. So
Mhm.
all of this stuff can change in this chart all at once when you have that change. And then right at the end of the sign, it's like this is the last time, this is the last moment. Maybe there'll be retrogrades or whatever, but say this is the last moment that this planet will be aspecting these different other planets around the chart.
Mhm.
That's sort of a special moment where we've come to the end of this cycle, this time, this period, and we're stepping into this new phase. So there's this kind of ending that's there.
Mhm.
So like I have my Saturn at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and I have my Mars at 0 degrees of Scorpio, and they're squaring. And that is like that has been such it's just a very heightened kind of powerful aspect in my chart.
That's right now. That's not just your birth chart. That's
That's
right.
in my birth chart.
Oh, in your birth
In
chart.
my
Okay.
birth chart, Saturn is at 0 degrees of
Hmm.
Aquarius.
Hmm.
Mars is at 0 degrees of Scorpio, and they're squaring. And
Okay.
it's been like a massive
What does
um
that mean?
so Saturn has so many significations. Some of them is like rigidity and structure and boundaries and how you're kind of climbing the hill. It's rejection. It's like if you're it can be lack and the physical world, the material world, hardship.
Hmm.
And then you have Mars, which is like how you're moving, how you're going.
Hmm.
Um, it's passion, it's anger, there's like these are basically two malefic planets. One
Hmm.
has to do with suffering, the other has this bravery and suffering.
Hmm.
And so when they kind of come together in this square, it's like, oh, there's a dimension of my life that's just been hard. Like
Right.
I have a disability, traumas, there
Hmm.
suffering, and I've worked really hard. I was in agriculture most of my life, like working myself, going in this really physical, heavy,
Yeah.
I'm suffering along the way.
Hmm.
It's just was part of my life. And so it also just it has a strong, relationship with how I move through the world. So I just tend to go, 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 go.
Hmm.
I just don't stop.
Right.
So the Saturn is just like consistent. Mars
Hmm.
is going, and
Hmm.
I'm just going and going. And so, or sometimes I've been kind of stopped, but
Hmm.
more often than not, I'm just going. So part of my journey is like slowing down that train.
Yeah.
And, I take part of what's been so beautiful for me working with astrology and finding balance in my chart is I was just like, oh, I realize I need these different parts of my chart. I need this alone time. I need freedom time. I need time to create. I need slow time. I need to stop. And so
Hmm.
anytime I'm not gigging with a band, I have Sundays that I just do exactly what I want to do. I'm just stopped.
Right.
And that's helped me find more of a rhythm where I'm not just like relentless
Hmm.
um, with that Mars Saturn square. Um, yeah, so it's it's super powerful.
It gives you greater understanding of
It
yourself
gives
and
you
like
greater
this
understanding.
this life. I know that when I first started reading astrology books, I was in high school, and my dad was like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like he was really afraid. I'm like, well, even if it's all BS, it's giving me a chance to inflect and figure out who I am, whether or not I agree with what I'm reading or I don't. It's still giving me an opportunity to go within and like learn about myself. So it's good. It's really helpful to get to know oneself, and you're like, oh, like that's what my friend who's the astrologist that I talked to recently, she's just like, it makes you understand why people are the way they are. Like you can be more forgiving of people when you're like,
Oh yeah,
oh, that's just that's just who
totally.
they are. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm in a band with a Taurus, and I'm like, oh, he's hangry. He
Yeah.
just has to eat.
Give them some
He's
food.
a Taurus. He needs food. If he doesn't have food, he's gonna be hangry. Can't fault him. He's a
Yeah.
Taurus. You know, it definitely, and like, you know, when you work with it as kind of a balance wheel, it's like, oh, I can help understand what's really needed here. Where it's
Hmm.
like, this is how I am, and this is how I can find better balance.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm a Taurus and I'm locked into the same job for 25 years and it's not working, but I'm just keep going with it. Okay,
Hmm.
maybe I need to lean into my Scorpio and get my spear out and charge into the dark cave and go in, Um, but yeah, it really helps you find such insight. And it doesn't matter. People will sometimes say to me, wow, you must really believe in astrology. And I'm like, I don't believe in shit. I don't believe in anything. I don't have to believe in like the sky is blue.
Yeah.
Like I've done 500 fucking readings and the fact that I don't know this person and yet I can look at this chart and be like, "Hey, I bet the experience with your children is really challenging." Or I
Right.
bet you don't have kids and I bet that this is your experience with your work and this is how you have to find balance between freedom and security. And this is, it's like all this stuff that all extremely different readings for everybody.
Hmm.
And this is really representative of people. So I don't have to
Right.
believe anything if it's just like if it didn't work, you know, some a percentage of the time, then I would have even a little more pause, but it works 100% of the time.
Right. Right.
So it's just like feels like I don't have to worry about what is making it happen.
You don't
I
have
don't
to
have
prove, yeah, because
I don't
it
have to worry about
proves
proving
itself.
it.
Yeah.
I'm just like it helps.
Yeah.
It's wise. It's a wisdom system.
Hmm.
Does it help you, and that's why I'm so like Catholic basically about like readings. I'm like, get readings from everybody.
Yeah.
Get readings in every system. Go get a Vedic astrology reading, get Placidus charts, whole sign charts, just get readings. See what's helpful. If there's wisdom that you needed to hear, that's what you needed to absorb,
Hmm.
and that's just accept it. And leave the rest if it's not connecting.
I had like a Vedic reading from someone who was studying it. She was just like needing some experience. And I hardly took any notes, which I regret. But the one thing she said to me is like she knew that my dad was a like a religious leader, like a fish, he's a deacon in the church. She could say that she saw that and she saw that my mother had a handicap, like that my mother was disabled. And I was like, fuck did
Whoa,
that show up in my
that's awesome.
It was just
Totally.
crazy. So it's
Yeah.
like I love the detail that it can bring up, it's just so neat. Go ahead, were you gonna say something?
No, no, it's so rad that and it's fascinating and it's incredible and it's beautiful. And I'm just really grateful that it exists and that I have the privilege of working with it in this
And
lifetime.
were you like doing readings for your friends when you were like in high school or middle school?
The furthest that it ever got for me when I was young was I would get their information and then read it to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like dramatically read it to them. And that would be as far as it would go.
Well, then when did you start like adopting the characters and putting up a camera to like record it?
Oh
The
God. I
videos,
mean,
they're hysterical. They're so
when
fun.
did Witchy Hunch really be like step
Hmm.
out into the sunlight? Um, so actually like, and this is like a social media just lesson
Hmm.
uh, that I had to learn, but Witchy Hunch had been around on Instagram for like 2 years, and I had 100 followers consistently for 2 years. Couldn't grow, wasn't really shrinking, wasn't really growing, no engagement. And all I was doing was like super cute little perfect videos.
Hmm.
Everything was just so perfect and the information was so perfect. And like you couldn't fuck with it because it was just not triggering and it was just like nice. And it was still real, but it was just still very stiff and kind of more professional, um, and more education based.
Right.
And then I just, at a certain point, like last November, December, I realized that like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. I haven't grown. I'm not getting seen. I'm gonna just do something that's fun. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna make like a joke video about Sagittarius was my first one. And I did it in my pajamas and was like, this is me, you
Yeah.
know. I realized looking at my Instagram that you would never realize that I had a sense of humor.
Right.
You never would know. There's
Yeah.
not one thing in there that would make you think I had a sense of humor. How
Right.
many like amazing female business owners do you think are out there with Instagram accounts where you would never know what their personality was,
Right.
like
Right.
who they were?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, basically I made that Sagittarius video. It got like 100 times more engagement than any other video. And then I was like, oh, I guess the people want comedy.
Yeah.
And so then I just like I was in theater when I was in high school, and loved it, and always come up with fake scenarios in my head and, have fake arguments with people in my head all the time. Um, so yeah, and then I grew, like I'm at 8,200 followers or 8,300 followers at this point, and
Mhm.
that's in the last like 8 months.
Yeah.
2 years of 100 followers forever.
Yeah.
Would be
Yeah.
perfect. So
I know. I don't know, when it started showing up in my feed, but I always just found it so hysterical. I did love, I
so
love how
fun.
well you capture, the essence of the signs,
Yeah,
it's just so silly and so fun. And I'm sure it's a lot of work
it
to
is.
put them
Yeah.
together because
Yeah.
just video editing can be so
I
tedious.
know, you know, you know.
Yeah.
It can take sometimes as long to edit the video as it does to film
Yeah.
it and
Yeah.
shoot it and write it. Um,
Right.
but the thing about it is like,
It's
you know,
fun
it's
too.
so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun and it's
Yeah.
just such a great, I wish I had more time for it. I'm going to like the winter and the spring are my witchy hunch times just because
Hmm.
gigs with the band.
Right.
Um, so I'm gonna hopefully have a lot more time. But like it's like I don't just need time to film and edit the videos. I also need time, like free time, to just be chill so that I can even have an idea
For the creativity to come.
for
Yeah.
the creativity. It's like you need a certain amount of time.
Hmm.
And the band booked so many gigs this summer that I had like 60 days here where I've had 3 days off basically in 62 days.
Yeah.
So that's not enough time
Hmm.
for the thoughts to, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Surface it
gonna have
all.
more time.
Yeah.
This is like the common thing with people who are um doing a lot is
Hmm.
there's just not a ton of time. It's always a time, balance
The
kind of thing.
struggle of life. I know.
Yeah.
I try to I'm like, oh, I really want to read whatever. And then you get to bed and you're like, yeah, right. I'm going to read like a page.
Yeah, yeah, please, please. Actually, I'm gonna fall asleep on the couch. You know, that's where my night ends.
And how much of the ideas are just like actual scenarios you were kind of sort of in too, I imagine,
Sometimes
It's
it's
like,
that. A lot of the times it's like it's a little like riff off of stuff, but
yeah,
sometimes I just like, I just have ideas that pop up and I'm like, oh, I gotta like,
I know. I just love how well you demonstrated or from like whatever. I can't even think of the examples. I'm just picturing you like in a robe or like with the
I know.
mug or
Yeah,
whatever. It's like, like the Cancery thing and the
yeah,
Taurus thing and like the Aries. My sister's an Aries, so I always
oh,
crack up
cool.
with the Aries fire.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just so
yeah,
clever and fun and silly. And I'm glad that people respond to it, that you're getting that kind of attention for it because it helps bring it in. Like I'm sure Deborah Silverman.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like I think that she did. I remember she talked to, is he Queer Cosmos, the guy, the younger guy?
yeah. I think so.
But I saw something where she was talking to him and he was like, well, you inspired me when I was like 10, and he saw her imitating different signs. So she had like a series from like 2010 or something like that, where she was kind of
Right.
doing what you do, where she's just like acting as, that sign. But
Yeah.
I love the way you pull it together with all of the silly, the mopey person who doesn't want to leave the house. And then the other person's like, let's go, come on, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, doing the couples, the
Yeah.
like opposite sign couples was
Yeah.
is fun. Yeah. I love it. My partnership, me and my partner are Aries and Libra, so I
Hmm.
still have yet to do.
Oh, that's
Gotta
my North Node and South Node, my
Oh
North
yeah.
Libra. Yeah.
Nice. Um, yeah. Yeah. I've just like
They're opposite each other on the wheel then. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and they help each other a lot.
Hmm.
Aries Libra. That's important. That's a really important journey for, especially for people who are like socialized as women. The
Hmm.
Aries Libra journey is a strong one. From like people pleasing and I'll do it. I don't want you to be upset. Let me
Hmm.
take over,
Yeah.
like all of that smoothing, smoothing, smoothing. Everything's going to be okay.
Right.
um, to like picking up your spear and saying absolutely fucking not. I'm willing to have a conflict right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna fight. You're not gonna like me, and that's gonna be okay.
Right.
Like that's it. When we can do that safely, uh,
Hmm.
that's an important one. I
What
have
about
Aries rising Libra sun.
you do?
I'm Aries rising Libra sun, so I have
Oh,
the
that's
Aries
yeah.
Libra
Yeah.
thing going on in my life.
That's neat that your partnership is similar then. Like I said, my husband's a Libra. He's
Yeah,
September
yeah,
24th.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, we're very complementary,
yeah,
We're both ruled by Virgo. So
yeah,
I mean
yeah,
by Venista.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, do you have any it's not as fun but I'm not sure if you would even make a skit for this, but I'm just curious about like the US and the Pluto return and all that stuff. Like what's your the state of our country?
The
A
state
lot
of
of
our
people,
country. Well, there's a lot that's going on that's like there are a lot of other transits that are happening too that like,
there's so
Uranus,
many.
Uranus and Gemini and having been in Uranus and Taurus, now Pluto and Aquarius, um, you know, cl- like the astrology is just a reflection of what's happening. What's
Hmm.
happening is a reflection of the astrology.
Hmm.
It's like we can tell how intense the astrology is. We can tell how powerful the these movements are based on just we don't even need to know about the astrology and the planets. We just know we're in a powerful powder keg, volcanic, plutonic, Pluto being the planet that was discovered at a time when we had massive wealth inequality, and we have this moment of massive wealth inequality. We're now renamed to the Department of War.
Hmm.
We're in a place where we have just massive injustice, and it's just spiraling and getting worse and worse all the time.
Hmm.
But then we also have this dimension of Aquarius, which is like pushing back against an oppressive system in
Hmm.
order to preserve individual rights.
Right.
So there's this whole piece of this which is making people rise up. Um, but when we have this combination of deep power and money combined, it just feels so hard to shift the levers of power at the place they need to be shifted to
Hmm.
actually make change because everyone's so bought in
Hmm.
to this.
Yeah.
So many millionaires in Congress. This is like does not reflect the American people,
No,
you know, like the Democratic establishment being against Mamdani
I know.
in, you know,
I
and
know.
that power and that money, that those plutonic themes
Hmm.
are really serving to oppress the the individual who
Yeah.
the single mom in New York who's on Section 8 housing, who needs that extra $200 in SNAP that she's going to get cut.
Right.
Like you have to think about the individual.
Hmm.
We think about everyone.
Hmm.
So yeah, so clearly we're in a really powerful moment where so many of us need to one really accept that this is where we're at. We're in,
Hmm.
we're in an, this is an authoritarian. There is no other, the facts
No.
are the facts
Right.
here.
Right.
And so accepting where we're at, and
Hmm.
it's such a challenge for us. And this is structural. This is structural from the origins of capitalism itself is we are our wages are kept at a place, our lives are kept at a place where we can't take 2 weeks off work to do a general strike. We can't get arrested
Right.
and still have a job and pay our bills at the end of the month. We're coerced into peace because of a lack of financial security. So
Hmm.
this is it, which makes it really difficult to rise up
Yeah.
against, an oppressive regime. So, so yeah, we're in a really, which is feels very once again kind of plutonic, where
Mm-hmm.
really people who really don't have very much at all, and people who have what millions of people and millions of people could live off of.
I know.
Um, so yeah, this is a really wild time. And we
I know.
definitely, I mean, when I was looking ahead at the transits, I was like, oh shit, we have like independence, like massive returns of different wars, the Civil War, you know,
Mm-hmm.
these, this is, I definitely feel this like Civil War resurgence. There was this, the AI fucking photo
Oh
of
my God.
Trump with the Confederate general fucking hat,
Yes.
you know,
Chicago. Yeah.
you know, Neptune and Aries, we have like this Civil War kind of resurgence where we have this us versus them. We're gonna send it's
Declare war on cities.
it's it's like holy shit.
I know.
So that I really am feeling. And it's like too much. It's like too much all at once.
I know. We're at like a
And you
boiling
have
point.
to get at your job. You just have to work too.
I know. We're all just chugging along, like,
Yeah,
like what is going on? It's
I
so
know.
crazy. And like the age of Aquarius is like, oh yeah, that's awesome. It's like all this good change is going to come, and we're here to usher in this change. But this is the most volatile decade in like the history of like recorded history, and we get to live through it and watch it all. And it's just crazy. And Age of Aquarius like doesn't even begin till like 2050. Like I remember just learning that recently, and I'm like, it's 2050. I'm like, oh, it's a while yet.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about some people think that Pluto in Aquarius is the age of Aquarius.
Oh, I thought it's not supposed to be yet though.
Or if you think about like, I mean, there's a lot's one of those things where it's
One of
like
those interpretation things.
there's a lot of ideas of what that is, but
Mm-hmm.
certainly an age of Aquarius is the 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
That is this is a could be a very powerful critical. We've already seen that
Mm-hmm.
what's happening,
Yeah.
we're at the most unstable, one of the most unstable points in history,
Mm-hmm.
with the war in Russia and Ukraine, like destabilization in the Middle East, what's happening
Yeah.
in Gaza,
Yeah.
like what's happening in Africa, like in Sudan. It's just, this is potentially going to be a very intense next 20 years,
Mm-hmm. I know.
of grappling with the aftermath of everything that's happened in these last 8 months and will happen in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we might, like, yeah, this is just most certainly unprecedented in my lifetime. And so I think a lot of us are trying to figure out how to live
Yeah.
with all this and what our role is. And
Especially when you're competing with corporations and water. It's like it's so crazy. All for all the AI.
I know.
I know. It
The
is
AI.
crazy. I appreciate that you're a smart, you're a smart witch. And you know about politics.
Dude, I know that's my Aries rising. I'm like, it makes me so mad. I'm gonna watch more of it. It gets me so mad.
I know. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna watch Outlander and
Oh, totally. No, 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 no. Fucking riding through the plains.
yes, we love Outlander here. And Blood of My Blood is, the spinoff, and we're watching that too. So
Nice.
you know,
Nice.
you have to balance it out. A little bit of
Oh yeah.
a little bit of reality, a little bit of escapism.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mine is like super sci-fi. I've watched like 1,000 hours of Star Trek or something like that. I like counted up, had 1,400 hours of Star Trek. I counted up all the seasons and all the
Oh my God, that
episodes.
sounds like my husband. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Yeah.
Love good
Definitely
sci-fi stuff like
escaping.
that. Yeah. I know. Back in the day, he had some show. I can't remember the name of it, but it had a big portal in it. Um, I can't remember the name of the show, but we watched it. I watched it with him. It was basically like a soap opera in space.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Stargate,
oh,
Stargate. That's what it
Battlestar
was.
Stargate.
Stargate.
That was gonna say sounds like Stargate.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica kind of has that vibe too. But yeah. Yeah, I think, and that's like we're doing the work now. We're trying to find balance between like staying involved and invested because this is what's real.
Mm-hmm.
What's real is what's happening in Chicago. What's real
Mm-hmm.
is what's happening in DC. What's real is what's happening at the Home Depot in your town,
Right.
where your community members aren't safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. Um, And then we're also holding so many other things like
Mm-hmm.
our work, like our kids, like
Mm-hmm.
our businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and our mental health and just time off that you need. It's like, um, so yeah, I'm really feeling that.
Well,
I'm really,
you're doing a public service by making people laugh and giving them a break from the horrors of our reality by
yeah,
teaching
yeah,
them some insights on astrology in the meanwhile too.
yeah. I think that's, part of my journey here is definitely making people laugh.
Hmm.
I I've always, since I was a little kid, I'm like, I'm getting bullied, but at least I'm making them laugh. Like I definitely like I'm here to make you laugh, and
Yeah.
that it feels good. I want to put out content that like, makes you feel good, makes you laugh, teaches you something,
Hmm.
and then I have my more like educational content. And that's a little deeper for some people who want to go a little deeper, but
So
um
what is that like? Do you teach classes or anything? Is that what you mean? Or
no, more like in terms of content, like types that I have. I
okay.
have my comedy content,
Hmm.
and then I have content where I'll be like, let me teach you about your Chiron return a little bit,
Right.
uh, or like teach you about a placement or a way of thinking
Right.
about the chart or something like that. That's more
Yeah.
like educational, not meant to make you laugh.
Right. Just
Yeah.
teach people things. Yeah. And your
Yeah.
unique way of teaching it in a way.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
offer any of the teachings as a paid thing on the side, or is
Yeah.
it okay? I wasn't sure. I know that you have readings and stuff
Yeah.
that you.
I do have classes. I have like a whole sequence of classes. I taught a summer school, not last summer, but the summers before.
Hmm.
And it was awesome. So I have this whole sequence of classes. Um, I think I have like a 4 class sequence or maybe a 3 class sequence right now on my website. But
I'm sorry I
classes
missed
were,
that. I must have not dove in
oh
as
no,
deep or
I have a
something.
lot going on in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do sell some classes and it's really great. Um, so highly recommend.
Yeah. And then you also have like a September special for the end till the end of this month.
Yeah, so to the end of the month, I have readings on sale, like hour-long readings are on sale. I have a package called Astro Balance where it's 3 readings, and after each reading, you get a 15-minute like wrap-up podcast where I just summarize what we talked about in the reading for you to listen to.
Hmm.
And we'd meet like once every 2 weeks or once a month or kind of thing for
Is that
that.
is that targeted to people who are going through like a transition or something that they would want that extra support, or is it just like for anyone who's just curious and interested?
The main thing I think about it is like there's only so much you can absorb about your chart from an astrologer in one session. Like
Hmm.
there's hours of material in
Yeah.
that. And so it's great for people who are going through a transition and need some help. It's great for people who are starting a business.
Hmm.
It's great for people who are in their midlife, like especially if you're 36 to 60.
Hmm.
This is a lot of really intense transits are happening that we want to get you situated in. So midlife folks, it's really good for. You can just remember what's in your chart more because so many times you do a reading and you remember one thing from the reading.
Yeah.
If you meet a few times, you're going to remember a lot more from the
Hmm.
reading
Hmm.
uh, than you would in a one-off once a year kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those are great.
What's your website?
So my website is www.witchyhunch.com.
Okay, I figured it was, but I wasn't sure because I know your Instagram handle is
Yeah.
Witchy Hunch. So if people want to look for you and
Yeah.
schedule and whatever, I'll probably want to do it too because it's always nice to get other people's interpretations, even though I've already done my
Oh
chart
yeah.
lots of times,
Yeah.
just to like hear your take on it.
Oh
And
yeah.
there was a lady one time who she just looked at my chart and interpreted it by like the appearance of
Yeah.
and like it's so cool just to hear different angles of the same material, different interpretation. So
Totally. Totally. I'm all about it. Get all the readings. I'm like, you want to read the my chin hairs? Read my chin hairs. What do my chin hairs have to say?
are you into like energy work too, or do you get like are you into
Um,
like spirituality otherwise outside of astrology?
I would say more and more. Like I've been somebody who's like I had my Reiki certification when I
Okay.
was young. I got it when I was a teen.
Oh, nice.
Um, and so I'm definitely like very open. I
Hmm.
feel like the more I've done work as an astrologer, the more I realize how much intuition is there, how much I'm feeling into people. And
Yeah.
like someone will sit down, and now I can kind of call when someone sits down. I'm like, are you mutable? Are you going to have a bunch of Gemini and Sagittarius and Pisces in
Mhm.
your chart? I can just like see it on a person.
Right. That's why I would think the lady who I learned from, the older lady with all the books, I remember the more she did it, she's like, I'm much more intuitive than I even knew.
Yeah.
It's just like it kind of rose to the surface the more she
Yeah.
sat with people and stuff.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's scientific
Yeah.
in the same way, because it's like, yeah, I've sat with 300 people, 200 people with this placement.
Right.
And you kind of get a look, you get an idea for people who are like that. Where the like Zoom screen will pop up and I'm like, oh, okay. I know what we're going to talk about, like,
Love that. It's so cool. I know because like me and my husband were leaving a concert like 2 months ago, and on the way home, I was like thinking about the singer, and I'm like, do you know who Les Claypool is? You
yeah,
know? Yeah. So we saw Primus, and I was like, he's got to be my father-in-law's age. Like I just knew he looked like my father-in-law. He reminded me, and then like I was just curious, and I looked, and whatever it was that I found also brought me to his astrology, and I was like, that's when I realized it was all clicking. So I was like, oh my god, of course his whatever's and whatever. Like I don't remember what it was now, but it was just really cool because it's like you do get a sense for it after a while. So I love that. So yeah, I wonder if you like test yourself, you probably can.
oh, I can feel it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll be like, someone will be like, I'm a Gemini, but I don't, believe in astrology because it's always gets me wrong. And I'm like, well, I already know just from being around you that you have tons of earth in your chart and water in your chart. So you can't even with me because I could just look at your I know, you know. Um, yeah, so it's cool. And what the thing about it is though, like 9 times out of 10 people are open.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down with you and they're open and they're like ready to receive and
Mm-hmm.
ready to hear and share, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like 1 out of 10, or maybe even like 1 out of 30 will just be totally closed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then it's fine, but you're just going off of the astrology,
Yeah.
which like it's just purely, and then it's great. And like I had a reading with a woman where it went like an hour and a half, and all the way for a whole hour she was just closed, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just with her reading the chart,
Mm-hmm.
and then got to about an hour, and she finally, like, I was talking about her husband's chart too, and then she just opened up and was like, oh, oh yeah, this is totally, and like everything that I had said was on,
Right.
but she
So
had
reserved.
she might have had like Saturn in Cancer. She had like closed, like
Mm-hmm.
Cancer kind of closed down kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so it's interesting to see like some people are really open and some
Yeah.
people are significantly more closed, but a lot more people are open than are closed in
Yeah.
my.
Same with who comes to me, like if your clothes coming to me, it doesn't really make sense, but
No.
okay, I'm still gonna read your energy. And
Yeah,
in the delivery of reading the energy to them, they're like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you're
totally.
just like,
Totally.
okay.
I
You
know.
know that you're like hitting a point, and I'll pretend like I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll just go on to the next point,
Yeah.
one at a
Yep.
time. But
Yep.
yeah, you're like, why? I mean, but I'm glad they're there because I'm planting a seed, even if they're not going to feed my ego. It's
Yeah.
okay. I'm still gonna share what I saw.
Um, I feel like there's so much more information. It's like I'm getting a huge amount of information from just the chart, but I find that I even am able to like tap into people in when I'm just reading their chart, like doing a personal podcast where I'm
Mhm.
just looking at the chart and recording for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like I can connect in with them, and I'm able to be like, well, you're the kind of person who is really on top of things, and you really care about how it's like you can synthesize the things in the
Hmm.
chart and kind of get a sense for people.
Hmm.
But I really feel like you get a lot of information from people's. I don't, the
Energy.
thing about me is I don't know how to like, it feels like a newer thing for me to realize how much
You
my.
get when you decide to plug into someone's energy. It's crazy. It
Yeah.
blew my mind when I started doing distance healing sessions more regularly during 2020 because I had to. And like, you go into someone's energy and all of a sudden you're like, you feel their weight, you feel their sadness, you feel like they're, whatever, and then then you go to the next one and it's like a totally different experience. You're like, okay, that wasn't just me.
Yeah.
That's them. It's like, it's so neat. So yeah, just like allowing yourself to like trust that and ride it instead of even questioning it. Just keep going with it. It'll keep growing,
Yeah.
all the time. That's just how it works. So it's really, it's neat. It's like, it's a
Yeah.
cool thing to allow for yourself, and maybe like different things will come to mind and like your other like psychic senses will start popping louder.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's when I'm with someone and they're open
I mean,
and
there's a reason why you're called Witchy Hunch because you got a hunt.
I got exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm leaning more and more into that. And um yeah, and it's cool. I have such a practical side of me. Like
Mhm.
I have such, which my readings are very practical. I'm not like super in the clouds. I'm very grounded. And so I'm slower to approach these more kind of diffuse, can't put your finger on it,
Mhm.
feeling the energy. I'm like very cautiously approaching. Put my foot in and I'm like, I think this is actually what I do, but I'm going to be very cautious as I get in.
Yeah, yeah. Just a little dip the toe.
I'm dipping my toe, but it's so deeply restorative. I don't know if you feel that way, but I like when I'm done with a session with someone and it's like, how are we going to help them? What do they feel excited about? Like so many beautiful things. We dove all the way in with them. Um, Afterwards, I just feel great. So even though I'm working like huge weeks for week after week and I'll
Mm,
do readings, it's like if I don't do them, I kind of crave it because it's like
yeah,
restorative.
I know. That's the kicker of it is like you don't do the work that like you're channeling all of this like love and light in the packaging of how you deliver it. And when
Right.
you're not in that flow, like even though you're like, oh, I had all these days off, you're like, I feel weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I miss it.
Yeah.
So it's like you need that work to kind of stay clear
Yeah.
for yourself almost, like it serves you to serve others,
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just be like, the other night we were on tour and I hadn't had a reading in like a couple weeks or something just because I'd been so busy. And
Hmm.
um, I was like, Rory, my partner, I was like, he's playing his guitar and I was just like, I'm gonna do a reading for you. So I just like gave him a reading and he played his guitar. Um,
Needed a fix. Yeah.
I need yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I appreciate you talking. I mean, we've been
Yeah.
almost an hour now, so I'm like, I guess we should go. I drank some coffee, so I was like a little bit more with it because I was feeling kind of tired. But I know like once that coffee ends, I'm gonna be hungry and my family's hungry, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna call it. But
Yeah. Sounds good.
but
So
thank
nice
you
to
so much.
hang and chat.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was awesome. And I know people, if they don't know you yet, they should go find you because it's just lovely. So when you get the time, you'll make more videos, but in the meanwhile, they
I'll
could
make her videos.
they could scroll down. So
Scroll down. I have so many for you. I made so many.
there's so many there. So much good entertainment. So
Yeah,
thank you so much, Allie. I really appreciate it.
absolutely. Okay,
Thanks.
see you around.
All right.